If you are having a fever right now, then your body is talking. It's trying to tell you that something in your environment is not in alignment with you. Hi everyone, Evette Rose here, founder of Metaphysical Anatomy Technique, which is a gentle, graceful healing technique that's designed to help you to greatly improve your quality of life, whether you struggle perhaps with anxiety, depression, fears, trauma from the past. This technique is designed to help you to gently move through that without having to know the root causes, without having to talk about it, and without needing to tap into accurate memories as well. And you can find out so much more at evetterose.com. And guys, welcome here to today's topic. We're going to be talking a little bit about fever. And we're also going to be diving into the emotional root causes of fever and then also the metaphysical aspects of that. That part of where you know this information, that there's something deeper there with information, something going on, but you can't quite put your finger on it, but you just know it's there. So when we just look at fever starting right off the bat, like just the conventional medical definition of that, this is normally when something, invades the body. And this can sometimes happen in the form of maybe a virus or a bacteria that invades the body. Now, what happens then, the immune system produces chemicals, which is also called pyrogens, which can then trick the brain's hypothalamus, which is almost like the body's thermostat, into sensing an artificially cool body temperature. Hence why sometimes we have that fever, but we also have these cold shivers at the same time as well. And remember also the hypothalamus, which now sits also at the base of the brain. It acts as the body's thermostat, and it's also then triggered by these floating biochemical substances, all now called as these pyrogens, which now flowing from sites, different areas in the immune system, and also has then been identified as potential trouble to the hypothalamus through the bloodstream. So some of these pyrogens are actually produced by the body's tissue, and many pathogens also produce pyrogens, which then the hypothalamus detects them, and it tells the body now to start to generate and retain more heat. Thus, now we have a fever. But now here, of course, the brain would respond as it's designed to, by now knocking almost like this thermostat up a few more notches higher. Because now what happens is that the blood rushes to the body's core, heating the body overall, but also cooling the surface at the same time. And now the body's metabolic rate also goes up and your muscles can start to contract. Hence why we have these aches and pains and sometimes just feeling really rigid and very stiff. Now, at the end of the day, it's the immune system's goal to encourage now the chemical reactions that will increase production of this disease-fighting antibodies, which then, of course, will stimulate activity now in the blood cells, in the white blood cells to be specific, and then also now inhibiting and invading the microbes' growth. Now, so many symptoms can also come forward when we do have a fever. Like I know when I have fevers, I have a headache, a warm warhead, like chills, aching muscles, general feeling of just like weakness as well. Sometimes my eyes feel really, really dry, or just like I just want to close them the whole time. You might feel a sense of loss of appetite, dehydration, and also swollen lymph nodes. Now, as with most things in life, things don't just happen for a reason. Yes, it can happen because there's a virus, but now you might have two people standing next to each other and they're exposed to the exact same virus, and one person might get it and the other person doesn't. How do you explain that? You see, from my experience, your mindset plays a tremendously big role in terms of what you align yourself with and what you become a frequency match to. If you are already very tired, you've been through the ringer, as I would call it, you've been through a lot of stress, things have been really uncomfortable for you, maybe in different aspects of your life, maybe you're struggling with boundary issues, maybe you're stuck in a fight or flight response. What happens is that the body starts to feel worn and run down over time. we start to feel tired. Maybe you don't sleep enough because you're stressing so much. Maybe you're struggling with insomnia. Maybe you are in very unhealthy circumstances in your life, and there's unhealthy dynamics that's also taking a big emotional toll on you. And what I've come to learn when I look at people who are having a fever, who's feeling really challenged by this, and let's now say that the fever is now a cause of, say, a virus or bacteria, and this is now just your average fever that maybe comes from having the flu, right? So this is not something that would necessarily come as a result of maybe someone having cancer or something more serious. This is now much more so generally speaking. And so now the psychosomatic and the metaphysical aspects to this is now you might be finding yourself, especially if this is you who's having the fever, you might find yourself now feeling like you've just had enough. You've had enough of either someone, maybe a certain thought pattern, maybe there's like an inner dialogue or a fight within yourself, or maybe it is circumstances in your life. But these circumstances, whatever it is that they are, is causing you to feel trapped. You feel stuck, and it's not nurturing you. It's not making you feel that you are now in alignment with your path. You don't feel like you are in alignment with where it is that you want to go. And now what's happening is that your frustration builds, anger builds, and the anger is an end result of feeling really powerless, just not knowing what to do. So of course we feel frustrated because we don't like to feel unresourceful. And it might also now be here that there's a part of you that's like having a really hard time shaking off this unhealthy lifestyle, shaking off these unhealthy dynamics that you might be finding yourself in. And that tells me that there's boundary failures on your part towards yourself, meaning that you are not listening to where your limitations are, where, what, and how to respect it, and how to take graceful action to correct it, so that you can move into a more calm and perhaps better quality of life for yourself, instead of now feeling constantly stuck in maybe situations, relationships, and dynamics that you're just not in alignment with. This tends to be quite a really big pattern for people who have fever. And it could also be that, there's clearly some areas in your life where you feel very overwhelmed, right? You feel very overwhelmed with strong emotions. And it might be that these strong emotions are coming up because there's aspects in your life that you feel out of control of. And that again comes from boundary failures. It comes again from not recognizing perhaps where and when you should have perhaps expressed a line, expressed a boundary, said no, or said yes. And at the end of the day, what we're also looking at here is that there's a very big part of you that is feeling tremendously, perhaps under attack by what you need to be supported by. You feel under attack, or something or someone is making you feel really angry, very powerless. And this is someone or a dynamic or circumstances that's actually meant to make you feel supported. So it's almost, if you look at it from this perspective, there's this part of you. If you really had to, let me backtrack. If you have to now look at the situation and actually ask yourself, what is it that I need from these people and these circumstances? Like if I didn't have all this conflict that I have to deal with right now, what is it that I really truly needed from them? In most cases, it's going to be either support or understanding or connection. And now these positive needs that you have is not being met in a healthy way. It's just not being met in a healthy way. And now, of course, it's making you feel that you are an energetic mismatch, right? An energetic mismatch to these people's circumstances, and making you feel that you can't have what it is that you want. And sometimes we feel stuck in these circumstances because maybe there's a part of you that keeps hoping that you will receive that connection, that you will get that support, or maybe you don't have a choice other than to change your circumstances. You might be stuck at work. You might be stuck with people in your environment, right? Because your threshold for dealing with these type of people is now running really low. And then the body reacts when our emotional resources starts to feel like they're failing us. And the reason why they fail us is because these coping mechanisms that we try to cope with is not becoming at least it's not allowing you to feel as resilient as you need to be. because the foundation that is built on is collapsing, because that foundation is coping and not thriving. So guys, there you have it for fever. I hope that it helps, and keep asking these really great questions that you also have. Remember to subscribe to my channel, and you can find out so much more at evetterose.com. And until next time, be the light that you are. Thank you for watching this video, and I'm sure that you learned a lot. So guys, subscribe to my channel here and also hit the notifications bar, and so that you can get notified every time when I upload a new video. So guys, also remember to share the video and also look out for courses that I have below in the description bar. And until next time, be the light that you are.